Question is why Hindu mind is considered as weak. Now you have to understand the word Hindu. The word Hindu comes from Sindhu. Sindhu means oceanic. Okay, Sindhu is the river which was there in the north of India. The Persians called the land of this side of Sindhu river as Sindhu, and gradually it became Hindu. Sindhu means oceanic. Somebody who has an oceanic consciousness is called Hindu. Okay, that's why the country was called Bharat. The Bharat means Bha means wisdom, Rati means knowledge. Bharat means one whose wisdom shine. Once the country of the people of the country where people have their wisdom shining in the light, the intellect shining in the wisdom, that's called Bharat. Those who enjoyed wisdom is called Bharat. Okay. So now that understanding of life, what is true wisdom, what is true, what is real, what is not real, what is my way of living, what is dharma, what is adharma, that was what is called Bharat. That was called Hindu. That was called Sindhu. Means people with oceanic consciousness. Okay, living a life of dharma, living in wisdom is called Hindu. Now that happened quite some time. India was actually a country which had expanded. The India was not just landmass what you are seeing today. The India had covered many countries on eastern side and western side. Of late till late, you can see Bangladesh also is part of that, right? Many other countries, Java, Sumatra. I went to Philippines actually. Okay, in Philippines, what they say is they recognize Manu as one of the constitution makers. In India, we have forgotten who is Manu. Understand? Even the Philippines doesn't remember the cultural aspect of India. So some of the dressings and all what you have in the traditional dressing of Philippines has similarity to dresses from Kerala. They recognize Manu as the lawgiver, and people have forgotten the word man has come from Manu. Manu has made man. Okay, so that was a order, a wisdom, a system of teaching which was there in India, right? Over a period of time, there is a corruption which happened in the political order. The politicians what hold the society together. The society doesn't get corrupt easily. The rulers get corrupted easily. They are individuals. And then the invasion started because India was very rich. Even the period of Yuan Sang, which must be in 15th or 16th century, the prosperity and wisdom of India was great. Right? No, I think slightly earlier. Because he visited Takshashila and all. Right? Okay, so and culture and culture and spiritual values spread from India. Now the corruption started rotting the political system first, because right wisdom is forgotten. Now right wisdom can be there when there is a teaching and education. When you don't respect the teachers and education system, there's a collapse. Then the teachers and education system at that time called Brahmins. Okay, not the Brahmins of the traditional thing. Those who really uphold the teachings and value systems of the society. So there was a disrespect for the teaching system, and gradually they say society the political class became enmeshed in corruption. When they were enmeshed in corruption, there is a attack because the country is prosperous and these people could not get together, act together. The whole period of time, the whole country's education system was first destroyed. The attackers, they looted the wealth, but they more importantly, they destroyed the education system. And education system is destroyed for, let's say, 1,000 years. What value you have today is only the rudiments, nothing related to what is original values. So your mind is weak when your education is gone. The spiritual education is gone. The mind becomes weak. Now you go to any country, any religion, the first thing they teach children is spiritual education. Okay, there is no spiritual education in India. The only spiritual education in India happens because thanks to our rishis is through stories of Ramayana, Mahabharata. Other than this, a formal spiritual education is missing. When there is education is missing, people become illiterate. Okay, an illiterate person, let's say a person who is illiterate, comes to Bangalore. How can he live in the society? He can't. When spiritual illiteracy is there, how a person can face organized religions, the attack from their organized religions, right? So you cannot respond meaningfully. When the spiritual education is missing, the society becomes corrupt. The political system is totally corrupt today. When the political system is corrupt, other countries take the advantage of that. That's what's happening in China. So the basic problem of the whole system is not the Hindu mindset, but the education system, spiritual education system of the society. The spiritual education,
lack of the spiritual education.
Education is required, no, because see, if you look at your life, whatever you learn early in your life is what comes to you.
That is the last thing.
See, the thing is in India, many of the foreigners appreciate this guru and shishya learning, but the first people who attack all these are Indians because they don't have any background about this. The spiritual education collapsed some time back. There is a disrespect for spiritual education sometime, which led to political corruption. The political led to corruption led to war. The war led to destruction of the further destruction of the education system. It's a self-destruction for prophecy. Now, also, you please tell me, where is the spiritual education? What is you are at the age of now 35. At this point of time, you are learning basics of spiritual education. Okay?
Yes.
Right? But a child has to be taught. That was actually what is spiritual education in India. Why? That's why it's called what you call as the early education of the child was called not a schooling system. It's called brahmacharya. You know what is brahmacharya means? Brahmacharya means Brahmani Charitam Mansam. To learn, understand the spiritual truths is the education. Not that they are not given education. They were learned astrology, astronomy, war, everything learned. But basic education of spiritual education, that's why it's called brahmacharya. Now where is that brahmacharya is there now? Where is the education system is there now? A mind with a improper education, a mind which doesn't have education is weak. Now people are hanging on to some rudimentary past of the whatever culture, whatever has come to them from the past, they are hanging on to in the form of stories, Puranas. But a proper education requires spiritual education. That is the strength of the mind. That's what's missing. And when that's missing, other countries will exploit. There is no coherent response.
We also don't have any spiritual education.
Huh?
The other countries.
They have.
China is communist.
No. They have a.
Basically,
It's a.
China is the biggest Buddhist country. Biggest
What is it? Biggest?
Buddhist country in the world.
No. But what happens is the China actually suppressed the religion. Now I am not speaking of religion. I am speaking spirituality. Don't mix up religion with the spirituality. The Chinese is a warrior class. Okay, rather they have a system of disciplined. Okay, let's not discuss Chinese in this, sir.